Hello, beautiful. I am so excited to be here today to share with you a little bit about the throat chakra and what has been coming up in my experience as an intuitive healer. I want to say for the last 4 weeks or so, pretty much every single client that I've been working with has been dealing with huge throat chakra purges. We've been clearing a lot from the throat chakra. And even myself, I thought I had done so much work on my throat, and I have. I used to struggle so much with anxiety and not be able to speak my truth at all. And even me, I've been feeling some energy, some old energies coming up in the throat space, in the throat center to be released. And so, first of all, I want to share with you a little bit about what is the throat chakra and what does it represent. So, firstly, the color of the throat chakra is blue. And even though it looks a little purple, I'm wearing blue today. I also chose to wear my blue jay earrings because it feels really relevant to the time right now. Like I said, I'm just noticing so many people, so many of my clients, and even one of my teachers shared recently, all of her clients are having really big throat chakra clearings at the moment. So it feels like we're in a potent portal to release. And so the throat chakra is located in the throat, obviously, but it's all around the neck. I think it's also related to the mouth and the nose and the sinuses. And the throat is our center of communication. So it is the area from which we express our needs to the world. It is the place from which we speak our truth and share what's on our heart with the world. It's also where the area from which we express our needs. So that is the throat space. So it's a lot about communication and speaking, but it also has a lot to do with expression. This is a huge part of the throat chakra also that you might not necessarily think of, is that it has to do with the way we hold ourselves in the world, the way we show up in the world. It can have to do with the way we dress, just the way we hold our energy, the way we behave, the way we act. That is a lot about what the throat chakra represents. So communicating who you are to the world on top of expression, communication through your needs and your desires. The throat also has a lot to do with purpose. So this is something that's often forgotten. So the throat is like, if our throat is blocked, we cannot express who we are to the world. We cannot easily carry out our mission and live out our purpose. So that's the throat chakra is a really important area actually that you want to have flowing and that you want to have open so that you can live your purpose in the world and share with the world why you came here and help and serve in the ways that you came here to do. So a lot about communication, expression, and purpose. That is the throat chakra. It's also, I learned this recently, it's so beautiful from a teacher named Sonia Choquette, that the throat is a bridge between the heart and the head. So also that means it's a bridge between your heart and your intuitive center, your third eye. So if it's closed, it can actually block you from being able to know what's present for you and to know what your heart desires and to access your intuition if your heart is being blocked from accessing your intuitive center and vice versa. So it can block your intuition if your throat is closed. It can hold you back from speaking up and sharing with the world. It can keep you feeling very afraid to just ask for what you want. And it can keep you also stuck in your head. So a lot of society is living with their energy very stuck in their head and not in their body. So if the throat is closed, this is something that will prevent you from being able to access the rest of your body as well and get really in tune with what's present for you. So I hope all these things really show you how important it is to have an open and flowing throat chakra. And just remember that this is a potent time for transformation, and that if things are coming up in your throat, I really recommend sitting with it and being with it and seeking out help and assistance, maybe support, to go deeper into the wounds that are present, the wounds that are coming to the surface, so that you can fully acknowledge them and transform them, transmute them, and release them. Because you're not meant to live with these blockages inside of you. And it's okay if you have them. We all have blockages. But it's also really beautiful to bring them to awareness and to transform them so that they no longer hold you back from living fully and living authentically. So the throat, you can look at it as like a messenger of light. So, for example, whatever is on your heart, it needs to come up and be expressed through the throat. So you can look at that space as like a messenger of light, a place to share your light with the world through the throat. So it's really important to do your shadow work to understand the root cause of the blockages or the energies that are coming up for you. It's super, super important. I'm a big proponent of shadow work because I know how much it has liberated me from past wounds and past emotions, and how much it has liberated me to just live my purpose and be of service in the world and bring in so much love and abundance into my life. So shadow work is important. And shadow work is getting to the root cause of the energy that's present for you, understanding what is the original wound, what is the original pain or memory that's causing this wound and this blockage. And usually I go by, there's 3 and potentially 4 root causes, and it can either be from your childhood, so inner child wounds, can have to do with past lives that you may have experienced. And it can also have to deal with ancestral energy, so energy that's been passed down from your ancestors through your lineage into you. And another cause could be also collective wounding. We do experience collective wounding, for example, feminine wounding. That is something that I have been working with some of my clients on lately, is this feminine repression of not being able to be in our powers because we've been repressed for thousands of years. So our voices have been squashed, and that is a collective wound. However, it's more important to look at the personal wounds, I think, for first. And so, yeah, the childhood wounds. Some examples of that can be in your childhood. Maybe your siblings or your family told you to be quiet. Maybe they were really mean to you and told you to shut up. Maybe they told you that your opinions didn't matter. And this can cause blockage. Hearing these messages, especially as a child, because you're very vulnerable and you depend on those around you for support and to meet your needs. And if the people around you are telling you that your opinion doesn't matter and that you should be quiet, well, you might take that in. Many of us would. And that would create blockage in the throat chakra. I know, for example, when I was little, when I was young, I used to love singing. And I remember my brother telling me once, oh, you're a bad singer, you should be quiet. Like not once, probably more than once. But so I internalized that, and I kept that inside for many, many years, and was insecure to sing in front of other people. And I've been working through that a lot in the last couple of years. And I love singing. It brings me such joy. And it's deeply healing, actually, for the throat chakra. So yeah, it's getting back to those wounds and then finding ways to heal. And maybe that's just through, with inner child healing, consoling yourself, consoling that version of you from childhood and saying, no, you should sing. You're a great singer. Your voice is healing, whatever it takes, to encourage your inner child to heal. Another past life wound, for example, and this has happened to many light workers. And I actually just did a healing session with one of my clients this past week where she was a witch. And many of us have been light workers. If we're called to light work in this lifetime, we've definitely been light workers in past lives as well. And so I've experienced the same thing as an alchemist in a past life, where we've been persecuted for sharing our gifts and sharing our light with the world. So what happens, in this client's case, she felt a noose around her neck when we really tuned in. Like she was killed via this noose, this rope around her neck. And so it's going back and healing those memories to clear and to work with that past life version and say, you are safe. You're safe now. Your gifts are needed. You're safe in this lifetime now. And just clearing away the memories that are imprinted in your soul, And so that's a past life example. And like I said, I know because I've been through that myself, and clearing that wound from that time, probably 400 or 500 years ago, I want to say, that helped open up my throat a lot to communicate to the world, hey guys, I'm doing light work. I'm a light worker. And I had been really blocked before that. And sometimes we can have these blockages and not, like, mentally, we're like, oh, I know I'm safe, blah, blah, blah. But on an energetic level, we don't feel that way at all. And so that's why shadow work is so important, to get to the root cause, to understand, why is this wound here? What is this tightness, for example, or this sensation in my throat? What is this blockage? Another energy that we can deal with is ancestral wounding. So, for example, Your ancestors may have been very afraid to communicate to the world about their creative expression. And there was a lot of fear and blockage, and that gets passed down. And so you might struggle with creative expression in this life, or you might struggle with being seen. And that can be something that comes from your ancestors as well. So a big one that I have experienced lately, and was quite a struggle for a couple of days, because I was like, what's happening? I don't understand what's going on in my neck. But I had so much pain coming up at the back of my neck. And I kept trying to tune into it, and I couldn't quite understand. And then it clicked. And it was like, whoa, this is repressed anger. And it got confirmed. And it's pretty amazing how this happens. I find that a lot of times on my healing journey, because I'm so committed to doing my inner work, I will heal through something, and then like a week later, one of my clients comes to me with the exact same thing. And this happened where I tuned in, and it was repressed anger. And I allowed myself to get to the root cause. Okay, why is this anger here? What is this? Oh, I see. I understand now. And then allowing it to move through. And I remember just being with the energy and breathing into it a lot. And I yawned probably like 100 times and cleared out a lot of energy that was stuck in the throat. And since then, actually, the person who I was carrying that energy towards, I've been able to have a loving, courageous conversation with them and share what was on my heart and feel safe doing so. And nothing bad happened during that conversation, even though it could have been, a scary phone call. But it wasn't. It was loving, and I was able to express what was on my heart and to move some of that energy in a loving way. So that's something you can store in the throat. Another one that I've seen recently is one of my clients' mothers holding on to her throat. And this has to do a lot with the mother, maybe not having her own needs met, or her maybe not having met her own aspirations in life. And so energetically stifling the daughter as well. Maybe it has to do with, the mother being afraid of being judged by others, this deep fear of judgment. So she doesn't want her daughter to be judged, and puts, energetically has this clamp on the throat as well. I've seen this so many times. It could be the father, could be someone else. Maybe it's your partner. A lot of times it has to do with, from childhood, from past lives, or ancestral energy, and this is the root cause. And as we're carrying this energy, these patterns will continue to repeat themselves in our lives until we heal them. And I've also seen a few different times recently where a couple of my clients have been through sexual abuse trauma, and their persecutor holding onto their throat for decades, this energy of being silenced. And it's so powerful, like I said, to get in tune with what's the root cause of that energy, and really bringing light to it, bringing love and bringing healing, and working with spirit to clear that. So these are just some examples of experiences I've seen recently with the throat chakra. And just remember what I shared earlier about all the energies that the root chakra represents. The throat chakra represents. I don't know why I'm saying the root chakra, but it has a lot to do with expression, communication. It has to do with purpose and carrying out your purpose in the world. And it's this bridge between your heart and your mind, your heart and your intuition as well. So I hope this was really enlightening for you. I would love to hear from you and hear if you've been noticing any blockages, any pain, or any illness coming up in the heart and the throat chakra. One last thing I want to share is that I haven't been sick for a very long time. I haven't had any colds or anything, because the moment I start to get sick and feel some, swollen glands, for example, in my throat, I always start to tune in. Okay, what's here? What's present energetically and emotionally? What needs to be seen? And this goes across the board for all illness, is really dropping in and seeing what's present, what needs to be seen. And then in those cases, I never ended up getting fully sick, because I tuned in and dropped into what was there. So there's a lot of power. You hold a lot of power. And I just want to make sure you know that you can transmute anything. And when blockages and triggers come up, see if you can embody this sense of gratitude, because they're coming up to be seen for a reason. And as you see them and work through them, you create more space and more opening in your life to just really be yourself and to live a more abundant and authentic life.